आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
नमस्कार,
वनक्कम,
नमस्कार,
खुशामदीद,
अस्सलामुअलैकुम,
सत श्री अकाल, जय स्वामी नारायण,
जय श्री कृष्ण,
जय जनेन्द्र।
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोल दे याली मदद,
मौलाली मदद बोलते हुए सारे फीजी मदद बोलेंगे नीसा मुला बनजन। हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे मैं फालतू बाबा
and of course myself फालतू रानी लेकर आपके लिए एक और ड्राइव टाइम that's going to make it totally exciting बनजनी।
एंड ऑफ कोर्स बनजन अभी तो आज है 420th डे ऑफ शेल्टरिंग इन प्लेस बनजन, मतलब 420 हो गया है। देखा 420 फालतू नहीं,
420 420
there are two reference to it फालतू नहीं, 420
420 what are the two references फालतू बाबा?
well California very happy the 420 was there, you know.
क्या?
420 marijuana.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You don't know? Okay, fine. You don't know about that. Fine, doesn't matter, brother. लेकिन आपकी जानकारी देने के लिए हम आ गए हैं, brother. अभी आपको बोल दे कि यार today is a Tuesday and yes, we're going to share some news with you guys for sure. But before we get into that, let's go take a look at what's happening on the roads with us. Take a Kahar, which we provide to you total saste mein.
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Well, Banjan, tell you what, Raste ka haal dekha jai to, of course, there's not many accidents report right now. But again, let me tell you that the schools actually are open. Many schools are totally open. But they're saying that the turnout of children in the schools are actually really, really low. Matlab, people who are taking the courses online. So I think there should be a rethinking of how they allocate money for schools right now.
Right, exactly.
And right now, let me tell you what's happening. No report of accidents, but residual delays here and there. The 80 is looking really bad right now, entering at the Emeryville, Banujan, at the entrance of Oakland onto the bridge. Huge traffic backlog over there. Warning of fog on 101 northbound and southbound at the Golden Gate Bridge is in effect starting, I think it's already here in effect. It's still foggy out there, I suppose. But yeah, but the Suraj, in fact, it's pretty hot right now. It's going to get hotter. It's in the 70s. It's going to get into the 80s. We might get to the upper 80s today, probably 88 or 89 degrees by afternoon for sure, Bandajan. But don't worry, when there's so much of heat, you got to fight heat with heat or fire with fire by listening to the Day420 on air, Bandajan. We come to you guys every Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday and Thursday, Bandajan, over here. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and also Saturday as well, and Sunday as well at 5 o'clock. So definitely in the evenings we'll be there with you guys, cooling things up for you. And yes, morning we're going to share with you guys news updates and all. So traffic-wise, nothing much to report. Everything is pretty much smooth right now. And if you want to step out, you can do it right now. And weather-wise, I told you it is kind of getting hotter, Baljan. Summer's almost here. Now let's go quickly take a look at what's happening with the news. Valdoni, can we go to our news updates, please?
Absolutely. From the Radio Day420 studios right here in the Silicon Valley, Panajan. These are the news in detail from across the United States and right here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Democrats in the U.S. Senate hope on Tuesday to advance sweeping election reform legislation, making it easier for Americans to cast ballots, despite intense opposition from Republicans, many of whom support new restrictive voting rules at the state level. The 886-page bill would expand mail-in voting that was used widely in last year's presidential election because of the coronavirus pandemic and would lengthen the hours of in-person balloting. This bill, of course, faces long odds in the Senate, where 10 Republicans would have to join with the Democrats for it to pass. U.S. regulators authorized Pfizer and BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine for use in children as young as 12 and said that they could begin receiving shots as soon as Thursday, widening the country's inoculation program as vaccination rates have slowed significantly. This is the first COVID-19 vaccine to be authorized in the United States for ages 12 to 15. Vaccinating younger ages is considered an important step for children getting back into schools safely. U.S. President Joe Biden has asked states to make the vaccine available to younger adolescents immediately, and this could happen as early as next week. Biden issued a statement hailing the authorization as, quote, a promising development in our fight against the virus, unquote. If you're a parent who wants to protect your child or a teenager who's interested in getting vaccinated, today's decision is a step closer to that goal, is what President Biden said. 1 million Americans have signed up for health insurance on the U.S. government website healthcare.gov during a special enrollment period that began on Feb 15th, President Joe Biden said in a statement on Tuesday. Biden, a Democrat, reopened the country's online health insurance marketplace earlier this year to give more Americans an opportunity to take advantage of benefits provided under the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. 1 million more Americans who don't have to lie awake at night worrying about what happens if they or one of their family members gets sick. Through this opportunity for special enrollment, we've made enormous progress in expanding access to health insurance, Biden said in a statement. The Jeff Bezos owned Washington Post, right, has named Sally Busby as the executive editor on Tuesday, effective June 1st, making her the first woman to lead the newsroom in the paper's 144-year history. Busby succeeds Marty Barron, who retired from the paper at the end of February, setting off a 10-week search for his replacement. Busby has been an executive editor and a senior vice president of the Associated Press since early 2017, overseeing the AP's global news operation, which produces content for over 15,000 news outlets from nearly 250 locations worldwide. Under Barron and Amazon founder Bezos, who bought the paper for about $250 million in 2013, the Post has expanded its newsroom, broadened its coverage, and invested in its digital operations. It now has about 3 million digital-only subscribers, up nearly 1 million in the last year, and a 1,000-person newsroom. California Governor Gavin Newsom on Monday issued an expanded drought emergency proclamation for 41 of the state's 58 counties, citing above average temperatures and dry conditions for April and May. Newsom, a first-term Democrat facing a recall election over his handling of the coronavirus pandemic, directed the state's water board to consider modifying requirements for reservoir releases and take other conservation measures. The declaration also gives us the state flexibility in regulatory requirements to mitigate drought impacts, which Newsom attributed in part to global climate change. Also, speaking of Governor Gavin Newsom, Manujan, there is a news that has come out with regard to the surplus. There's something that's going to be announced on May 15th, actually, right? The May revise. Governor Gavin Newsom has come forward and said that there's going to be a $75 billion surplus in the California budget. State financial officials are actually projecting that California will have $38 billion discretionary surplus. That is, after all the other things usual, for funding for schools and all this gets taken care of. In the upcoming fiscal year, a massive influx of cash that Governor Gavin Newsom and the legislature have a month to decide how to spend. It's going to be, Governor Gavin Newsom is expected, he announced the California Comeback program, and a lot of that is going to go into the Golden State stimulus. They're also looking to expand the Golden State stimulus to middle income Americans as well, not just low income Americans, and also a stimulus payment going out to undocumented immigrants here in the United States as well. In some news from PG&E, Banajan, PG&E is warning of scammers masquerading as utility workers to steal financial information from customers, file fraudulent returns, and then cash the refunds in their names. On April 13th, a PG&E impersonator deceived one customer of $1,000 in Foster City, which was one of several cases in the past week brought to the attention of authorities. It's suspected that many victims do not report cases due to embarrassment, officials said. PG&E does not request any financial information on the phone or on the email, nor would they demand payment for bills on the spot. So please do make yourself aware and keep your eyes and ears open if you see characters in that particular area, wherever you are, of suspicious activity. If there's a truck that's, it's happening everywhere. I see it on Nextdoor. Please get involved in your neighborhood watch if necessary. And finally, Banujan, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration recently updated climate normal temperatures, which gives an average for each location over the past 30 years and how that compares to the past 30-year normal temperatures. It was not surprising that it's been warming up. For San Jose, the new normal is almost 1.8 degrees warmer, and San Francisco 1.6 degrees warmer. These shifts in temperatures can have huge implications on microclimates and the types of plants that can grow in these climates. David Ackley, the Dean of Rosser College of UC Berkeley, is a biologist who focuses on the impacts of climate change and biodiversity. And he says that these climate zones will shift and will possibly we will possibly be able to grow things that in the past would have been hit by an occasional frost, especially in the interior. We don't have that much frost near the ocean, so occasionally those maps come out and say you're in a new zone now and you can plant new plants. So more on all of this you can find out on mediamahima.com. And how is this actually warming going to affect all of us, right? Where is it going to affect? Our trees are actually apparently going to face a high amount of stress in the future, which could add more fuels to wildfires in the future, apparently.
And of course, Banjan, this particular season, summer PG&E is bracing for a very tough time, and they have been given special regulations, and a special report actually shows that how PG&E actually has not taken care of some of the safety concerns across the whole state. Actually, but there are multiple locations in the rural areas where the power lines are very close or too close to the trees and vegetation, in other words, which are major causes for fires. If you remember, Banjan, the past 2 years, PG&E actually has taken claim from PG&E has caused many of the fires. In fact, the one which is the wildfires, and also the one which happened recently where 85 people lost their lives, that the kind of stuff. So, and all of them actually were for negligence and everything. But anyway, we'll see what's going to happen over there for sure. But I'll tell you, when Gavin Newsom's recall is something which is talked about very very passionately in some of the political circles I work with, I am with actually. So,
oh really?
We don't know what's going to happen there, because the Democrats are saying that there should be some, if at all, it's going to be some recall, and there should be a different governor. It should be a Democrat person, but Republicans, of course, saying that no, it has to be a Republican. So. And again, it's divided, pretty much divided as in not equate, because I think 36% of people are saying that he needs to be recalled, and remaining actually are saying they don't know about what's going to happen and everything. But anyway, the surplus could be a good news for Gavin, and could be a saving grace for him, because he's brought the budget into surplus right now for us, Banajan, at California. What's going to happen? How is it going to happen? We'll talk more about that, Banajan, in a few minutes. Banajan, we're going to go into our world news for you guys. But usse pehle ek gaane ka kira sun lete hain hum log, Banajan. Today, of course, is pretty much we're coming to the close of the Ramadan season for everybody out there. Tomorrow probably be Eid, or day after tomorrow, depending on when they see the chand. Wishing everybody out there Ramadan Kareem. Just hang in there for 2 more days, and thank you so much for actually being fasting for the whole world peace and everything, Banajan. Thank you so much for that. ये अच्छा गाना आपके लिए Banajan, अदनान सामी की आवाज में. लिखाई of course is Kausar Munir. It's actually based on a very old Qawwali also. So here you go. Enjoy the song. It's a composition, the music composed by Preetham and sung by Adnan Sami for the movie Bajrangi Bhaijaan.
भर दो झोली मेरी
forget to actually tune into our Geet Gata Chal this Saturday, which is a Bedia Buck Parajam. We're going to talk about all these things because we just be coming out of the Eid part of it. Of course, जो भी हमें actually Eid promise किया ना, भूलने का नहीं है, हमें कॉल कीजिएगा जरूर. हम याद रखेंगे. हाँ, बादशाह का साहब हम भूलते नहीं है. अच्छा, बाद में आगे बढ़ते we're going to go right now into our news, which is the world news and everything. But then see what's happening around the world. And I know many of you actually are very anxious to know about what's happening in India. But the situation of COVID and everything really showing up in different ways. But one, of course, the variant being very bad, and then it's affecting younger people, and also the fact that there's a shortage of viruses. Shortage of vaccines in the places. Many people only have got the one dose, have not got the second dose, and it's got postponed further. So all that news are coming up at Banjan, and news desk from the news desk of Media Mahima, where you can actually catch up in detail on the website mediamahima.com. Here you go.
Last week, the Biden administration came out in support of WTO proposals to temporarily lift the intellectual property protections for COVID-19 vaccines. The WHO's chief, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, described the U.S. move as a historic decision and a monumental moment in the fight against COVID-19. Originally proposed by India and South Africa, the plan could boost vaccine production around the world, and Biden has come under increasing pressure to support it. Given that it would allow drug makers to access closely guarded secrets about how vaccines are produced, pharmaceutical companies have voiced their opposition, claiming that the plan will not eliminate supply chain bottlenecks and will only stifle innovation. Along with the pharmaceutical sector, President Trump was long opposed to a patent waiver, along with the UK and the EU. The debate has quickly moved in the recent weeks. However, given the emergence of new variants of COVID-19 in infection hotspots that could prove more resistant to vaccines, possibly prolonging the pandemic, has made this shift possible. Now, the proponents of this vaccine waiver have consistently pointed out that most COVID-19 vaccine producers would not have been able to develop their jabs as quickly without substantial injections of the public-funded research and development monies. That's right. It is a large portion of it is on public monies that they got this through, Banajam. According to data compiled by the Knowledge Portal on Innovation and Access to Medicines, hundreds of millions of dollars have flowed into companies that have developed successful vaccines. The US and Germany have been the largest COVID-19 vaccine R&D investors, putting $2 billion and $1.5 billion into the effort, respectively. And where's the money coming from? Us, taxpayers. So they're saying that this should be still okay because they should not be asking to hold on to their patents because it is largely public funded. In news from Israel, Israel intensified its airstrikes on Gaza on Tuesday as rocket barrages hit Israeli towns for a second day in a deepening conflict in which at least 28 people in the Palestinian enclave and 2 in Israel have been killed. The most serious outbreak of fighting since 2019 between Israel and the armed factions in the Hamas Islamist-run Gaza was triggered by clashes between Palestinians and Israeli police at Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. Syria has freed more than 400 civil servants, judges, lawyers, and journalists detained this year in a crackdown on social media dissent, a move seen by rights activists and former detainees as intended to win over public opinion ahead of the presidential elections. Those released after being held under Syria's cybercrimes law were among thousands freed this month under a general amnesty for currency speculators, drug dealers, smugglers, and kidnappers ahead of the May 26 election that is expected to hand President Bashar al-Assad a 4th term. Most of these freed social media critics were supporters of Syrian authorities' handling of the uprising in 2011, and that spiraled into a war that has killed hundreds of thousands of people. A Russian court actually has banned a 19-year-old anti-Kremlin activist from leaving her town near Moscow for more than 2 years after finding her guilty of vandalism, a sentence her supporters said was unduly harsh. Olga Misik, a journalism student in Moscow, became an anti-government protest symbol as a 17-year-old when she sat down on the pavement in front of a row of riot police during the 2019 protest and read the Constitution aloud. Moscow's Mirovoy court sentenced Misik, sometimes known as the girl with the Constitution, to 2 years and 2 months of restricted liberty for splashing paint on a booth outside the Prosecutor General's office to protest a state crackdown against activists. My God, what is the world that we're going to, Altu Baba, really? Anyway, in India, Banajan, volunteers are collecting unclaimed ashes of India's COVID-19 dead for a final farewell. Volunteer Ashish Kashyap carefully shovels the ashes of India's unclaimed COVID-19 dead from a large pile into sacks at Nigambodh Ghat crematorium in Delhi, where the pyres have been burning around the clock because of a surge of deaths. He then takes the ashes to be immersed in the Ganges River. Families of the victims are often too afraid to come and collect the ashes after cremation because they fear contracting the virus in crowded sites. And also, Banajan, dozens and dozens of bodies have now started washing up, apparently, the Ganges River because people don't have money. And, there are people who are profiteering from the COVID deaths, right? So people don't have money to get cremations done. And at the same time, crematoriums are backlogged right now. They're waitlisted, supposedly, and that's not getting done. So people are just, disposing the dead body into the Ganges River. So dozens and dozens of bodies have started washing up apparently right now. And in some live updates, Punjab West Bengal reports a record 20,136 new positive cases and about 132 deaths. India on Tuesday recorded its lowest count of daily COVID-19 cases in 14 days, but still well beyond the 3 lakh mark as per the data updated by the Union Health Ministry as of 8:30 a.m. And the country reported 3,29,942 cases in the last 24 hours, taking the total caseload of COVID-19 cases to 229,92,517. The last time India recorded around 3.2 lakhs in a day was on April 27th, when a 24-hour count stood at 3,23,144 cases. The highest single-day count of new COVID-19 cases in India has touched 4 lakhs, recorded on May 1st. And in Seychelles, Manajan, which has vaccinated more of its population against COVID-19 than any other country in the world, saw active cases more than double in the week leading up to May 7th, raising concerns that inoculation is not really helping turn the tide in some places. The World Health Organization said vaccine failure couldn't be determined without a detailed assessment and that it was working on evaluating the situation. And let's give you some other news from India outside of this, right? Outside of the COVID.
Yep.
Okay. You remember Sachin Vaze, that suspended police inspector who was dismissed from police service?
Yeah,
remember
what happened to him?
Well, he has now been dismissed completely from the police service.
Oh my God.
The order terminating the service of Vaze, arrested by the National Investigation Agency in the case of explosive-laden SUV found near industrialist Mukesh Ambani's house, and the murder of businessman Mansukh Hiran, was issued by Mumbai Police Commissioner Hemant Nagrale. The PTI quoted a spokesperson of the city police as saying. Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan said on Tuesday that his country will not hold talks with India until New Delhi reverses its decision of scrapping the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. India abrogated the special status of Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370 on August 5th, 2019 and bifurcated it into 2 union territories, and Pakistani government is now saying that unless India retreats from the steps taken on August 5th, we will not talk to India at all, he said, responding to questions from the public during a live broadcast session.
He's behaving like a,
Yeah.
a real touchy girlfriend.
Yeah. No, I think he's like, he said that, we want to have good relations. Then he
it.
turns around and says
Exactly.
something else. It's like, I think he's coming under pressure and he's talking.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
He's talking to his friends.
Yeah. But let's go into and tell you a little bit about what's going on in the business world also, right, Altu Baba? U.S. fuel supplies have tightened as the pipeline outage drags on. Supplies of gasoline tightened further in parts of the United States on Tuesday as the nation's biggest fuel pipeline shut down for a fifth day after an attack by hackers, raising concerns about price spikes ahead of Memorial Day holiday. Oh, wow, Altu, then you were right. You should actually load up on gas right now. Yeah. eBay Inc. is on Tuesday allowed the sale of non-fungible tokens for digital collectibles like trading cards, images, or video clips on its platform, the first e-commerce company to tap into the recent frenzy around NFTs. Oprah Winfrey-backed vegan milk maker Oatly is aiming for a valuation of $10 billion in U.S. initial public offering following increasing consumer demand for plant-based dairy. And Elon Musk asks his users, do you want Tesla to accept Doge? Do you want to pay for it using Doge? Referring to the digital currency worth roughly 48 cents with no real-world use. And he's trying to get the, I think the question in the form of a Twitter poll comes days after he called Dogecoin a hustle, which sent the meme-inspired cryptocurrency's price reeling after a 700% rally in a month. And Altu Baba, speaking of Tesla, remember they came up with that pickup truck which was all electric? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? Now we are in the big time with electric trucks because next week, in a milestone moment for electric vehicles, Ford will unveil a fully electric version of the Ford F-150 pickup truck called the Ford F-150 Lightning.
Oh my God, I'm going to get that.
Yes, companies like Tesla and Rivian have have already unveiled electric pickups, but this is the Ford F-150 and this is the big time, Bandhujan. Ford's F-Series has been the best-selling truck in America for 44 years.
Yeah, pretty affordable also. It's actually a people's vehicle.
Yeah. And Ford has offered few details about the truck, which it will unveil on the evening of May 19th.
I hope they have a shutter-proof window.
Why?
That is where he lost, right? Elon Musk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but that's one.
You didn't know about that? They threw a metal ball into the window of the Tesla and it broke.
Oh.
It shattered.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know about that? That was
Where do you find all these things, Altu?
I shared it on the Good Morning Bay long time ago. My
Okay.
goodness. Okay, fine.
Okay, and forget about the truck. Okay, now this is obscene. I mean, I really think it's obscene. Okay, the world's richest man is reportedly buying a boat, though that word feels inappropriately sensible for the monstrosity going to Captain Bezos, a 417-foot super yacht that's so massive it has its own support yacht with a helipad, according to Bloomberg. The estimated cost, not including the boat's support boat, is $500 million.
A guy who was valued at around $100 billion. That's nothing. That's like change for him. It's like 0.5% of
God.
his investment. That's it.
$500 million is an inconceivable amount of money for most people, Banajan, and it's only a small fraction of the $75 billion that Bezos gained just in 2020.
See, that's what I told you. Huh?
His total net worth now just stands just shy of $200 billion. Oh my God. He himself can eradicate poverty in the world.
After his split up with his wife, that is.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you one thing. All this is conspiracy. Even for the matter of Microsoft, the split up is actually all money.
Why?
Because, if at all he had not split up with his wife, Jeff Bezos, he would be valued at how much? $300 or $400 billion. And he'd be the richest man in the entire world with an overtaken thing.
And they would actually go after him and all that stuff.
Yes, exactly. So he had to divide it out so he can actually they went into separation. That's it.
My God.
Same thing I think is happening even with, Bill Gates.
Just these people alone can actually run the world, Altu Baba.
They can not run the world. They not run the world.
They can eradicate poverty.
Forget poverty. Hunger, first thing. They eradicate hunger, right?
True.
And just make free meals for everybody and make education free for everybody. Come on, why can't everybody prosper, right?
Correct.
Take on everybody's loans.
Exactly, Banjan.
House for everybody, why not?
Why not?
Housing for everybody. You can build like millions of homes with that, and you can actually house all the homeless people out here in these places, right?
Yes, Mr. Bezos, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, instead of spending that obscene amount of money on your yacht, I mean, please, what are you going to do when you're gone? Who's going to use that yacht anyway? Let's tell you, Banajan, that's all we have time for on this morning's Good Morning Bay. We'll be back tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show. But until then, here's your final iteration of the Gane Ka Kida. And we were going to tell you, have yourselves a magnificent Monday. Loving the music, the best music with the best entertainment. You know where